Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to participate in the debate for the amendment of Article 16 to the Sarawak Constitution. The opposition, I speak on behalf of the opposition, the AP and PSB this morning, referring to the first part of the proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, we have no objection in lowering the age limit from 21 to 18 years old to be eligible as a member of this august House. But we raise concern, Mr. Speaker, with the second part of the bill, which proposed to define, quote, residence in the state, unquote. It's very clear, Mr. Speaker, from the speech of the Minister this morning, that there is a very good intention for the government to make this phrase very clear, to ensure that only Sarawakians would be eligible to be a member of this august House. And we totally agree with that good intention, Mr. Speaker. We do agree with that. A very good intention. As we are all Sarawakians, and we desire that only Sarawakians are the best people that can take care of our affairs. But the concern, Mr. Speaker, is this as to the new proposed definition of that word resident in the state. It is still ambiguous, with due respect, Mr. Speaker. It's still ambiguous because we cannot define a person solely based on his or her birthplace and the birthplace of one or both of the parents, and vice versa. In the case of a child born outside Sarawak, like in Singapore or Sabah, or Australia, to one or both of the parents who are Sarawakians, by every definition, the child is therefore without doubt a natural Sarawakian by birth or by any other definition. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, a child born in Sarawak to both parents who are also born in Sarawak but are Sabahans or Penangites or even Australian or even a British citizen who just happen to be in Sarawak during the childbirth and have not been naturalized as Sarawakians cannot be considered or accepted as Sarawakians as suggested by the definition prescribed under the current content of the proposed amendment bill. For example, for the child in one or both parents are born in Sarawak but remain to be Sabahan or Penangites or Australian and yet defined as Sarawakians and therefore eligible to be elected as DUN members, and from there on even as our Chief Minister, even as the TYT, and as well as even vote and stand for election as MP. Without clear description of definition beyond birthplace and normal place of residence, Mr. Speaker, the same person can vote and technically be eligible to be a member of this august House, and at the same time be eligible to be a member of the other legislative assembly of the other state. Now, Mr. Speaker, I can give you a very clear example. A well-known writer called Claire Brown. She was born in Sarawak. She was born in Sarawak. Yes, born in Sarawak. Now, if she has a child born in Sarawak, reside in Sarawak, by virtue of that birth in Sarawak, Mr. Speaker, definitely the child of Claire Brown cannot be eligible to be a member of this august House. On the same token, Mr. Speaker, now this is not a laughing matter, Mr. Speaker. It is not. A West Malaysian, now we don't need to be so short-sighted, Mr. Speaker. West Malaysian who works here give birth to a child in Sarawak. The child is not a Sarawakian. Assuming the child stays in Sarawak, resides in Sarawak, got married to a West Malaysian or a Penangites, resides in Sarawak, and give birth to a child in Sarawak. By virtue of the fact that the father, although born in Sarawak, to a West Malaysian parents, cannot give that legitimacy to the child of this child to be eligible to stand in this August House. That's the effect of this whole definition, Mr. Speaker. So in a quick perusal of this definition, yes, we're all happy with it. But then you look further than just the definition itself. It does not help us to really airtight this intention that we have, that only a Sarawakian should be eligible to sit in this August House. Because of that, Mr. Speaker, I have discussed with my colleague on this side of the bench. We do raise this concern with the present draft as it is. We are afraid, with the greatest respect, Mr. Speaker, that we cannot support the second part of the amendment bill proposed this morning. That's it, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.